Good morning, day 15 of 22 Connect. Today, I'd like to talk about the three A's and how to not get stuck in the why. So, the three A's are awareness, acceptance, and action. It's kind of a three-step plan. So, awareness for me is when I realize that either my behavior, my thoughts, my reactions, my responses, or the reactions, responses, words, etc., actions of somebody else, um, that I'm uncomfortable. I'm not okay with this. Maybe I'm even aware of a pattern of behavior at this point, or a pattern of thought, of reaction, and it's not comfortable for me. So those moments where I'm uncomfortable are moments that I can wake up. It's a little kind of like the universe or in my psyche or whatever, kind of poking at me, going, "Hey, pay attention here. Pay attention. There's some work you need to do here." So that's the first A for me, which is awareness. I'm aware that something that I've been doing or something that somebody else has been doing, whatever, the situation that I'm in, I'm not okay with it anymore. This is making me uncomfortable. The second A is acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean I'm okay with everything. Acceptance doesn't mean I all of a sudden, oh, okay, yeah, I like that. Or, it's not the same thing as permission. Acceptance simply is uh, accepting reality. So I find for myself the times that I get the most frustrated and wound up and everything like that is when here's reality over here. This is what reality is. And here's what I would like. This is what I really want to have happen. And these two things aren't the same. And I will find myself fighting reality because, I'm human. I want what I want. And that's a really difficult place to be in. So acceptance is simply, it doesn't mean, I have to be okay with the situation, but I need to accept that reality is this. The last step is, and then the other thing too with acceptance in that stage for me is, kind of looking at reality. Okay, this is what it is. But then the other thing I get to, kind of ask myself is, am I okay with this? So say it's a behavior, that I've been doing that makes me uncomfortable. And I sit down and I go, okay, I'm aware of this now. And then I say, okay, so am I, this is just what I do. Am I okay with that or not? And sometimes the answer is, I'm not okay with my behavior, or, I'm not okay with this other person's behavior. I accept that this is what's going on. I accept that this is reality, but I'm not okay with it. Or sometimes, I'm uncomfortable with this behavior. Okay, well, this is just kind of a harsh truth. And now that I'm kind of looking at it, I can accept that. I can accept it and I'm okay with it. So then the last A is action. And action is, if I'm not okay with a situation, if I'm not okay with my reactions, with my responses, or with somebody else's actions or responses, then I need to do something different. They have that saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's on me. I can't, if the issue is somebody else's behavior or somebody else's decisions, I have no control over that. They have just as much of a right to make their decisions and just as much of a right for them to live their life as I do. Where I do have some control is, do I stay or not? Am I okay with this or not? What would I have to do in order to be okay with this? So that's the process that I kind of go through. And if I'm not okay with it, there are a number of different things that I can do. I can speak to the other person. When in doubt, use your words is what I always remind myself. So I don't assume that other people are mind readers. And if I'm not okay with the situation, I can start a conversation along the lines of, hey, this is a situation that I'm uncomfortable with. Can we have a conversation? And maybe we need to renegotiate things. The other thing is sometimes at the end of the day, the action is, I'm not okay with what this person's doing. This is what this person is intending to continue to do. And if I stay, that's a choice. that means I need to accept this unless I want to torture myself, or I need to make a choice to move on, or to change this relationship. The last thing for me is getting stuck in the why. So this acceptance phase, sometimes part of what happens in the acceptance phase for me is I want to know why. Why am I doing this? Or why is the other person doing this? And I sat down and did a lot of kind of looking at that for myself, and what that means to me. Like, if I figure out the why, what is that? What am I getting out of that? And what I think it is for me is, if I figure out the why for myself, like I do this behavior over and over again. And if I sit in that, place, and I'm like, okay, if I figure out what the why is, then it's going to be like a little key, and all of a sudden it just turns a lock, and everything just, and it changes, and it's effortless, and it's easy. And that is such a seductive idea that, change is going to be easy. And for me, change isn't easy. Change is consistent, repetitive behavior in the same direction over time, and it's slow, and it's progress, and it's not perfection. And so I get very seduced by this idea of why when I'm in that acceptance phase. And then when I'm looking at other people and I'm trying to figure, well, why would they do that? Why would they, and I can even have a conversation with them. Why would you do that? And maybe I'm not getting an answer that makes sense to me. And I asked myself, okay, what would it mean if you really, really understood the why for that other person? On a this is a very healthy side, it would be, oh, well, I can empathize. I can understand why they would come to that decision. On an unhealthy, controlling side, if I understand the why, then maybe I can use that information to manipulate the situation to get what I want. And so this is how I do it. I look at myself, good, bad, indifferent, basically I'm a human being. So I have all of these different thoughts, and it's a matter of me being honest with myself about my motivation on things. So that's the why for me. That's why I will get stuck in it. And that acceptance phase, if I sit there pondering the why over and over again, it's a really wonderful way for me to procrastinate actually taking any action. So sometimes the 3 A's for me, it's awareness, and then I go straight to action. So I'm aware that this is uncomfortable, and this is what I've been doing over and over again. I need to get into action. I need to do something different. And, there's a fear sometimes, maybe I'll make the wrong decision. And how I reassure myself on that is, life is very self-correcting. And I have, quite a lot of years of experience that have proven to me that I can make a decision, and if I don't like the consequences, there's another decision to be made after that. Life is self-correcting. It's going to be okay. So again, for me, sometimes I'll do that awareness, and then I'll get into action. And then sometimes down the road, what happens is all of a sudden it occurs to me what the why was. And sometimes it just really isn't that important anymore, because I've already changed my pattern of behavior, and I'm enjoying the consequences of my new decisions and my new actions a lot more. So hopefully this has helped somebody today. Hopefully you go out and connect with somebody. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Take care.